Once you're in the field with your optic mapper, there are a few items that need to be adjusted to ensure proper operation. First, we want to lower the unit and set the EC coulter depth, typically 1 to 2 inches. This can be done either using a ratchet jack or a hydraulic cylinder with depth collars. Next, we want to move to the front of the implement and adjust the top link. We want to adjust the top link so the implement operates at a level stance. And then we want to adjust the front coulter. We want this front coulter to penetrate just slightly deeper than the mapping depth of the sensor. After making the adjustments on the front end of the implement, we need to move back and make the adjustments on the row unit. First, we want to set the mapping depth. This can be done setting the depth wheels, and typically we recommend a minimum of a 2-inch depth. Next, we need to adjust spring pressure. This is always at the maximum setting to allow for optimum soil contact, unless the field that you're mapping in has a rocky field condition, in which case you can back it off. Lastly, we want to adjust the closing wheels. We just want to adjust this so it closes the furrow that was just created with the optical sensor. The last thing you need to do before beginning to map is to run a quick test pass to ensure everything is set correctly. And we also need to make sure to check using our finger if there is any gap behind the optical sensor and between the soil and the sensor itself. If there's any gap here, it'll have adverse effects on the OM data collected.
Here are some settings for varying field conditions. In loose soils, to avoid pushing or bulldozing the soil, reduce down pressure on the row unit and move the gauge wheels to map at a shallower depth. In heavy residue, there can be a problem with poor soil penetration. To remedy this, lower the front coulter to help cut and move residue and increase down pressure on the row unit. In fields with ridges, there can be a problem with inadequate or excessive soil contact. For this field condition, adjust implement depth and individual components as needed. And in wet field conditions, the row unit can plug with mud. To fix this, move the gauge wheels to map at a shallower depth.